Welcome to the next edition of The Promising Creative, where I'm with HEN HAW.
HEN HAW.
HEN HAW.
HEN HAW, that's the one.
HAW. Thank you very much for coming down to share your thoughts and stories. We've got a surprise guest that's joined us because he's been in the other room and he wants to be part of it. At some point, I'm sure he will disappear. Right, anyway. So, obviously, like I said, this is just an informal chat about chatting breeze about stuff. And
yeah, man.
The idea is to try and get your story down, and hopefully someone will hear something that will help them and inspire them. So,
hope so.
I want to start off in Camden.
Of course, yeah.
Because I'm from North London, and Camden is a place that I grew up as well. So I guess, like Camden is known for punk roots. Or my brothers used to go when they were a lot older than me, and they used to be like rockabillys and punks.
That's the main sort of attraction.
And would you say growing up there has contributed to your musical journey?
100%. I mean, like obviously just walking down there as like what, a 6-year-old or whatever, taking in all the like the scenery, the smells, the people. Obviously, there's a big music culture down there. So. Yeah, no, it's 100% had a positive effect on the music, I say. And I don't know, it's just an interesting place when you tell people you're from Camden, like, it's just a conversation starter, you know what I mean? Because it's an interesting place. Although, I think it's got its ups and downs, to be honest.
What's its downs as Camden, and what's its ups? What's the good things about it? Say, and what bits of those have come into your music? Because your sound is quite interesting.
Yeah.
Like when you describe your musical sound, what would you put it down as?
I don't know. Honestly, because I don't know. I fiddle about different genres and all that. So, I mean, collectively it's rap, innit? Hip hop, I suppose. But there's like grime elements, you know, garage elements, punk elements, bloody metal. Like,
yeah, because it's got a bit of that. You can sense it. Is that from the area, or is that just
slightly? Also, like some of the music I was listening to when I was, you know, like 17, 18, was quite heavy music, because it was at the time there was a load of rappers in America doing this like screamy sort of rap stuff, which, you know, I was infatuated with when I was like 17, because, you know, you're at that age where you're like rebellious and that. So I think partly that had an effect on like my all-round sound, but I think as well, like we say, Camden therefore had a part to play, I think, because just look at it.
It's so multicultural as well. It's just so different. It's got so much happening simultaneously. But the bad parts are, I guess, that it's still quite a bit naughty around there. It is. Because that's the easiest way for me to describe it. Is it still like that now? Or?
It is. I wouldn't say it's as bad at the moment. But it goes through phases. I think summertime gets quite naughty, we'll call it.
Sticky.
Yeah. But, you know, to be honest, I dealt with all that sort of stuff mostly when I was younger. You know, now that I'm 23 now, so all of that stuff doesn't really come into my realm anymore.
Yeah,
so.
And when you were growing up through that, at what age did you first sort of start becoming interested in music? What age did that happen at?
Do you mean like interested in making music, or just like, interested in music in general?
Well, I mean, obviously, I don't know. Tell me, you were probably interested in music from a young age.
Well,
right?
yeah. I mean, my granddad probably was one of the biggest reasons I started, because he was a musician himself, and he bought me like my first microphone and music software and whatnot. And I think I was like 12 at that time. So it was sort of around that time when it was around the Olympics. Remember the 2012 Olympics? I remember for some reason that's around the time I started writing music. Didn't actually do anything with it until about 2018. So I feel quite lucky, because I had, you know, those years to like sort of get good before I just threw whatever out there. So I reckon, it was about 12, I think, 12, 13 when I thought,
at what point did you think, right, this is full time for me, this is exactly what I'm going to do?
To be honest, as soon as we started, we used to have this, me and my best friend, producer, whatever, Chase, like we went to school together, so I've sort of had like a partner in crime through this whole thing. Me and him just started doing it, and then like as soon as we started, even before we even made our first track, we always spoke of, when this works out, when this works out, when this works out, rather than if. Do you know what I mean? Because, I don't know, we just always had that mindset. We still do, to be fair, because we're not there yet, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
So, obviously you're quite new into your career because you're all starting off, but is there been any key low moments that you could say, you know what am I doing? Or you produced a track and you weren't happy with it? Or, I mean, I don't know if when you create a track, are you always happy with it? Because I think it's always like a work in progress.
I kind of am. I don't know. I don't really make songs that I don't like not in a like egotistical way. It's just that I just love doing it. So, and I believe in my ability enough that I can't make a bad song, respectfully.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I understand.
So, but to be honest, it's more the business side of it that is jarring, because it's just, I think especially for creatives, they don't want to really deal with all that stuff. You know what I mean? You just want to kind of reap the benefits, but obviously it's not that simple. So I say, just the industry itself is the low point for me, although we're still trying to crack it, you know.
Do you have, and you're an independent artist who makes music, puts it out, and then your income comes in via you putting it out and working on social media? How does your process work?
Well, in terms of what?
Like, for example, let's go right back to the beginning, right? So you're like, I'm going to make a track. Where does your inspiration come from that moment on?
Ooh.
Like, so you're like, do you know what I mean? You're like, I'm going to create some music this week. You don't say it like that because that's really
you know what I
mean? Oh, I'm going to make a song today.
Yeah.
But you're like, I'm going to go in the studio this week. I want to produce a track. Where does the inspiration come? Like, from that moment when you walk into the studio, or do you work from home, or do you work in the studio?
I've come to learn to pre-write now. So, you know, because we live in the internet age now. So I've got all the beats and whatever I need on my laptop or on my phone. So I quite enjoy writing music at home. And I mean, the inspiration comes, you know, from the beats that I get sent or I make with I don't make them, not anymore, with Chase. So yeah, it's literally, I don't know, the inspiration comes from weird places for me. Like even looking out there, seeing the trees, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know, like, it just sort of happens.
Wherever you feel at that moment is where it comes from.
Yeah, I guess so.
Do you when you're making music, we've digressed a little bit, but when you're making music, is there any track that you've made in particular where it kind of is more, I wrote that song because this is what happened?
Yeah, there's a few of those.
Is there one that you could pick out and say?
Do you know what? There's more than one. But probably I got a track called Whole, on an EP from last year, 2022. And I basically just broke down everything in like one track. It's like 3 minutes 50 of just pure emotion, basically. And that it was actually difficult to put out. I didn't really want to put it out. I wanted to wait, but my friends convinced me to put it on the project. So,
what made you want to not put it out?
I don't know. It's very raw, and I felt like it was very honest at a time where, like, the things that I was talking about were still very fresh. So I was considering maybe it's not the right time to do it now, but I did it anyway, and I think. Yeah. Did
producing the track help?
I mean,
because sometimes I say, like, when you talk about something, it helps, and I guess when you.
It did help. I mean, just for context, like, basically the song's like about my mum passing away and all kinds of stuff, like my granddad, whatever. So it did feel good to just sort of get it out there, because I don't know, I literally wrote it like 2 days after all that stuff happened. So I mean,
and I guess fresh. When you hear it now, where does it take you to? Is it good memories?
Yeah, actually. Funnily enough, I mean, considering the vibe of the track itself is quite, sad and dark, but it takes me back to a place where I actually got up and spoke about it and put it out there in the world. So really and truly, it's a nice moment, you know what I mean?
I've got here, I was listening to Lowkey.
Yeah.
Again, how did that one come about, and like what was the inspiration for the song?
That one's interesting because that was back in 2019, so that's quite an early track of mine. It was the first one to ever actually pick up, like proper traction. That song came about, he was messing about with like garage, dance music sort of sounds. Because at the time it was quite, it was sort of having a resurgence, like the garage sort of two-step vibe. So we was just messing about with that, and I was at Chase's one day, obviously, under the influence of some things that I shouldn't be under the influence of. And we came up with a song basically, and then, obviously, I sent it to my manager at the time, and he was like, "Yep, like this is good. I love this." And yeah, it's done really well, that tune. But that's probably one of my favorite songs that I got out, not just because it has like the most numbers or whatever. I just think it's a special song, to be fair.
So when you're about to write music, you go in, you pre-write.
Yeah, mostly.
Most of the time you're pre-writing, and then you're going into the studio, and then you're kind of putting it all down.
Yeah, I mean that's why I prefer to pre-write, because then you can practice it beforehand, so you're not going in there and wasting precious time trying to find the right cadence or voice to use or whatever. I mean, I find pre-writing easier, but everyone's got a different process.
And you have a sort of setup at home as well?
I do, yeah, I do, but it doesn't get used as much at the minute, simply because my house is upside down with decorating and all kinds of things, so I haven't really been recording at home for the last few months, but once I get my setup back up and running, I'll probably record mostly at home.
And so you're speaking about management, but you're independent, you don't have any management now?
Not really. I mean, I'm kind of just doing my own thing at the minute. Like me and my ex-manager, if you will, we're all good. We're on good terms. It didn't end sour or nothing like that. I think we just had different visions and different niches, Yeah. Like he had his path, I had my path, and I think we just decided it would be.
Like, what's your general take on the majors and stuff? Like,
scary.
You're not the first to say that. I don't think
it is. It's real life scary, bro.
And why is that? What do you think that they should be doing to help up and coming?
I don't know. Do you know what it is? Especially now with TikTok and these things. Nowadays, your song will, do the rounds on TikTok for a week, get loads of millions of views or whatever. A label will throw a bunch of money at you for 3 albums, and then your next song will be rubbish. And then they shelf you, and then you're stuck, basically. They won't put your music out, and they own it. So it's spooky, I don't know, and they don't want to really help you, they want to make money out of you, so I don't know, it's a weird one. I mean, I'm still not the most knowledgeable on it, which I probably, I should get my knowledge up on it, but I just see it as this big scary machine. Yeah, I mean?
Yeah, no, I understand.
But to be honest, yeah, that's why I've been sort of just doing my own thing. Like distribution deals are pretty cool, because you can put music out on a song by song basis rather than being stuck behind this massive contract. You know what I mean?
And does that work out better for you? Because you feel more in control. I guess that's what
so.
It is.
I think so, because it's just easier that way,
You had some really big success on TikTok with Chalk and Cheese. Explain to me a little bit more. What happens when it gets successful like that? What's the upside? Apart from the fact it's getting views.
Dopamine.
Okay.
When you see all them, oh, this is so cool. That was alright for a sec, but I don't know, TikTok. It was kind of an accident, so I posted the snippet, the song. I think I made about 30 seconds of the song, and it did alright. I think it was doing pretty good. And then the next day was when what's her face, Liz Truss resigned.
Okay.
The day after I put the snippet out, and obviously it's quite a political song, if you will. So I just ran with that idea. So I jumped on TikTok. I was like, yo, she resigned because of this song. I just ran with that, and it worked. And then it just started going crazy. And yeah, that was cool. It's just, but like I was saying earlier, after that, all the labels that me and my manager had been chasing over the years, came out, oh, hi guys.
Yeah.
You know.
And did you take a deal for that, or
No,
was it?
No. We just put it out independently because we didn't. Yeah, we was like, I don't know. I think we was just quite offended that you know, now they wanted to show face. You know.
Yeah.
After we've been, you know, grafting for years, I get a little bit. I use a couple of hashtags on TikTok and now, you know.
Yeah.
But no, so we decided to just do that solo. Kind of just like rushed to get the song out. Did a video like the next day. Edited that in like 12 hours. Well, I didn't. My friend did. And yeah, just put it out basically. Good stuff.
Good.
It did pretty good. It did pretty good. I think it's one of my biggest songs. So
amazing. Also, paper planes. It's one of my favourite ones.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I do, because you talk about being scared as well and stuff. It's got some. It's coming in and out of stuff, and it's like, again, like I was trying to figure out what was the inspiration behind the track. Sometimes I don't know if there isn't, but most of the time I feel like there probably is. And again, that's another one where I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Like,
yeah.
What was the spiel behind the back of that one coming out?
I mean, that was, you know, I did say that Lowkey was the first song that got traction, but it was actually Paper Planes.
You've had a few.
Like you can tell because the mixing on that song is terrible. Like it's proper, it's old, right?
That probably adds to it as well, I think, a little bit as well.
Yeah, the idea behind that, we was kind of trying to do this, I think at the time, what did we call it? Emo-drill, right? We was trying to do this whole sub-genre thing. And it was essentially like, we had this idea to just have like moody, like grungy guitars with like, you know, sort of drill beat patterns. And I'm going to say it now, I was the first person to do that. No, I'm playing. Could have been. But yeah, that was the sort of idea behind it. So I ran with that sound for a little bit, but I'm not the biggest drill fan these days, so that sort of phased out. I sort of grew out of that. But that's like 9 out of 10 people that I speak to who have known about me for that long, they say that's their favourite song. I personally don't like that song. Like I did say I like all my songs, but I performed it and I've heard it so many times.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
It's just boring now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Rinsed it. But, yeah, I appreciate it.
You don't have a team around you now.
No, not really.
You're just in the studio creating music. And is there anyone that you go to for advice, or if you're not sure about something, or how does your support work?
I mean, I still talk, you know, to my old manager, like all my friends. Like a lot of my friends are in music, doing the same thing what I'm doing. You know, some of them have gone further, some of them aren't quite at this level yet. So we all just kind of stick together. It's like one big support network. And yeah, I mean, we have the internet now as well, innit? So
yeah,
any answers you need is there. So
you use your friends and people that are in the industry.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to think that I surround myself with like-minded people. So I sort of just rely on my friends more than anyone.
How do you work on your social? So how do you try and drive the numbers? What's it all about for you on social? Because obviously you're putting stuff out on TikTok, it's going viral. A lot of stuff you've done has got traction.
Yeah.
Where do you find most of that traction coming is from social media? Is there an idea that you do? Is there like a general, right, I think I'm going to work my social media like this? Or do you just go, right, I'm just going to bang stuff out?
No, it's just essentially throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, because I'm not really a social media head like that. Like, I'm not too savvy with it. I don't really know what I'm doing.
You're just putting it out.
I just kind of, I mean, like the music industry now, even if you walk into a label meeting, they will say to you, how are you on TikTok? Like, that's their like main concern nowadays. So you kind of have to work it out. But yeah, no, I literally just kind of, unless I've made a song that I know that's easily marketable, then it's easy to come out with like Chalk and Cheese was, I think, pretty easily marketable, especially after she resigned, the Prime Minister. So yeah, just seeing what works, honestly. It's hit or miss.
Would you like to learn more about, so if there was a course that you could do, or if there was something that you could work on, or would you just be like, no, I just want to keep pushing it out and seeing what happens?
I mean, I would like to be more more savvy with it, but I think I'm learning with time.
Yeah.
And also, artists don't want to be on TikTok, really. Saying, "Oh, look at me." Do you know what I mean? We want to be mysterious and like stuff like that, because you know, like think about, you know, back in the day, if you saw an artist, you didn't know anything about them. They wasn't on your. You didn't have a screen to look at where they're like, "Oh, hey guys, listen to my new song. This is some stuff about me." I'd rather, in an ideal world, just sort of do music,
create music.
Yeah, but like obviously we live in a time now where social media is like a big part of it. So I ain't really got a choice, to be honest with you. So just kind of get on with it, see what works.
If you had so really what you're saying is from record labels you'd want more support, not just about signing you up for multiple albums, just signing and supporting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm about good relationships. Yeah. I don't just want to be a cog in, you know, a machine. I'd rather, you know, if I'm gonna sign to a label, I want to meet them. I want them to appreciate me for an artist. Now I want to be able to ask them questions, you know, and it be a two-way thing, not just them like throwing money at me and putting the music out. Because I don't know, it's weird to me.
Because of today's day, like because of the way things are now, it's not always needed for them to just be chucking shed loads of money at you and like push, and then shelve you when it doesn't.
Well, yeah, right. I mean, it's all good them throwing money at you, but you gotta make that money back for them. So I think, especially rappers, they don't understand that about advances. It's like it's not just free money.
So tell me a little bit more about what you're working on now, and what you feel like you've got coming up, and.
Well, I've just taken like a year off.
Okay.
Just, you know, just to sort of clear my head a bit. Had a lot going on. So now I'm just at a point now where I'm rested and I'm just ready to pump music out all year, essentially. You know, I won't speak too much on exactly what's gonna happen, you know, but essentially a lot of music. And a lot of features, so me on other people's songs.
Yeah, how does the features work? Because I've noticed you on quite a few as well, so...
Well, I mean...
Pick one and tell me how it works, for example.
Okay, so... I just dropped... Well, I was working with a band called the Skinner Brothers, and they just dropped a single featuring me. And honestly, it's just you decide on... Well, you make the music, obviously. And then it's really as simple as just deciding on splits.
Okay.
And putting it out. It's really not, there's not much to it.
Obviously you have to want to work with them.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean some people will make music with anybody. I guess it depends on the artist, I guess, but yeah, of course you go
into a studio and you want to work with this artist or band or whoever they are, and you create the music and you're like, oh, I don't like this. And they like it. Do you still go forward with it, or who would? Because if I'm inviting you to be on my track, do I ultimately have more control, or does it depend?
Nah. I mean, if you're down to be honest and open about it, then sure. I mean, like, you know, there's no wrong answers in it in music. It's art. So if you're not happy with it, I'd say that. Do you know what I mean? Because you don't really want your name attached to something that you don't mess with. So there's nothing wrong with just saying, look, maybe we can do something else.
Yeah, I understand.
Or try something new, you know?
Or push out something more.
Yeah, or just, you know, try this same one again. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I personally wouldn't want to sugarcoat it, you know? But to be honest, that hasn't happened to me before. So
it hasn't.
All the features I've done are solid.
And you just like doing them more, or is it?
I don't know.
What's the benefit for you, like when you're doing that?
Actually, tell a lie. When it comes to like other rappers, I always find I push myself a little bit more on features because I got to do them, innit? Like I can't. I don't know. It's like it's like sportsmanship. At the end of the day, it's like a sport. So I'm not gonna let you have a better verse than me. Essentially.
Okay.
That's the sort
push as hard as I can.
Yeah.
Harder.
Yeah.
Harder than you.
I think that's kind of a rap thing, though.
Is it the competitiveness?
Yeah, because it's like you know, rap's got that, you know,
back and forth.
Yeah, so I mean, that's like one of my, like, I sometimes say I even prefer my raps on features because I don't know, I just think outside the box a bit more. Like, because I've already got the idea there because they've got half a song there waiting for me. You know, it's a lot easier to then go off of what they're saying.
And do you understand more about publishing then, or is that easier to work with? Because if you're writing all your own stuff, is that where you're getting, like, how do you survive when you're still trying to find your feet, make your music, develop your craft?
It's tough. I mean, there's not really any money in streams nowadays. Like, I think 1 million streams on Spotify or whatever, I think it's equivalent to about $4,000, something like that, which is not a lot of money.
And million people to listen to.
Well, I mean, imagine people bought 1 million CDs back in the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're rolling in it, but now obviously it's not like that, and you're not just getting that 4,000. It's not like you hit 1 million streams and then you get sent $4,000. It's like you're getting that in like dribs and drabs every month.
Yeah.
So it's difficult. So most of the money now is in shows and merchandise.
Okay. And do you do a lot of shows or?
I do a lot of shows. I can't, like, I just came off supporting a tour in November. Just toured the UK. It was my first ever tour, so that was fun. Went to some places I've never been before. And like Glasgow. Cool place.
How is it up there?
It's good, man. Nice people. But they know you're not from there. It's strange. Like, I got off the train. I was waiting at a bus stop. Some guy come up to me. He's like, "You lot come down from London?" I was like, I hadn't even said a word. I was like, "How'd you know that?" He's like, "I don't know. I just know." I said, "All right."
And do you use any other streams for revenue?
What do you mean?
Or do you, like, you know, is there any other platforms that you can get revenue to come in from? So as an artist, where does your revenue come in from? And do you look to diversify that?
Like I say, I mean, like, if you're an independent artist, it's all in merchandise and shows. Honestly, that's like the bottom line, like clothing and yeah.
Do you make your own merchandise?
I haven't actually done a merch run yet. Okay. I'll be honest with you, I don't make a hell of a lot of money from music because it's like, it's tough. But to be honest, I'm quite lucky, I think, because I do make money off of it. So I think I'm quite blessed because I'm still at an early stage.
Yeah.
But like...
And do you have to do other work?
Yeah, like I have a part-time job.
What do you do, if you don't mind me saying?
It's cool. So essentially, you know how nowadays you can get like your groceries like delivered to you? Yeah. So like GoPuff, Zap, all these things. So essentially, I'm the guy picking the order. So let's say you wanted pint of milk, loaf of bread.
Pack it all and then it goes out. And that's just what you do to earn, because that's what it's about.
Yeah,
it's about
pretty much.
surviving until you get what you want.
Yeah, so I do that, essentially do that like 3 days a week, and then music.
For the rest of the time?
Pretty much.
Does that ever get you, do you ever get to a point where you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, like, it's just killing me.
Yeah.
It's like, and I just want to make music and it's really difficult.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
In those moments, what happens? Like, how do you get, because that's not just for you, that's Clark.
No,
anyone creative is under that, is on tilt.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's a difficult one. It's frustrating, isn't it? But at the end of the day, like, if you're a grafter, you just get on with it. And just, I mean, you got to be consistent at the end of the day, because like, you know, there's a bigger picture that I'm chasing. So it's not just, I don't want to get up for work today. I don't want to get up for work today, but I need money to make music, so I can make money from music. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's.
No, that makes perfect sense. So it's just a matter of keep going.
Yeah, I mean.
Is there ever a point when you just think, oh, I need a break from all this?
Sometimes.
Is that why you took the year out, or?
No, that was more for mental health reasons, to be honest with you. Because just needed the time off, because it was just go. I was on go mode constantly. And then, like I said, like, went through a whole bunch of stuff with like my mum passing away, my granddad passing away, my cousin. Like, everyone was just dropping like flies for a period. So I was like, right, I need to like take a step back for a bit. Like, and yeah, I did essentially. But I was still making music that whole time, which I probably shouldn't have been. I just wasn't releasing it and not having to deal with the whole headache. Promotion, putting yourself out there, because I didn't want to at that time. But that's the only break that I've ever taken. Like, and now I've like literally January I dropped my first single, called Wait, and yeah, goal now is just to.
And is that a track that you made previously?
No. That I wrote that track. I think I wrote that track in like October. So well, yeah, I wrote the track in October. Didn't record it till like January, and then just put it out. Essentially.
Is there like who would you say is like your big inspiration for your musical taste or for your musical journey? Like where does your inspiration come from other artists? Is there something you'd be like, these are the few that are really...
Yeah, well, I was going to say, cause it couldn't be one. So there's probably a few. I don't know, this one might surprise you. Obviously, Amy Winehouse, you know, her being from Camden as well. She played like a big part in me wanting to do music. Because, I don't know, like seeing someone doing it from where you're from makes it real, you know what I mean? Makes it possible. So, Amy Winehouse, Skepta, big influence on me. The Streets, Matt Skinner, speaks for themselves. Obviously Eminem, growing up. I was a big Eminem fan. I don't know, there's so many.
Is there anyone you'd like to work with?
Untold. I mean, I want to work with Skepta before he stops rapping, for sure.
Okay.
Because I think he's getting there. Yeah, you get me? I've been telling him. Nah, that's a big one. To be honest, a lot of the old school grime sort of guys I'd love to work with, you know, like DWE, people like that, just to like, that's more for my childhood self, you know. But yeah, Lil Wayne is another one, probably my favourite rapper out of America. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Most of the artists I want to work with are dead. So.
Can't bring them back, unfortunately.
Nope.
So, but would you take one of their tracks and remake it, or use their songs? Or
oh yeah, for sure.
I
mean, I think sampling is good. A lot of people don't like sampling in music, but me personally, I think if you make it your own, then there's nothing wrong with it. I don't think.
I want to ask you, like, if you could speak to your younger self, if you were like you're starting out, is there any advice that you'd give yourself, or is there any advice that you'd give people generally, like that are coming through? What would be your...
What, like young people?
Yeah, like even a younger version of you when you got your first bit of kit, and it was 2012, and you're about to go on this journey, and you made music for 6 years, and then you stopped, and I guess when you hit 18, what would you say to yourself? What would be the one bit of advice you'd be like, right, make sure that, or remember this? What would that
I
be?
would tell myself to stop focusing on women and alcohol and weed at that age, to be honest. Because I was, you know, obviously being that age and doing what I was doing, I thought I was well cool. So I just said, just tone it down a bit, concentrate, do the music, and all those things will come to you in later life. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I think just stay consistent. Like, don't forget the end goal, because, you know, time's not going to wait for you. You're not going to get any younger. And I feel like there's a ceiling, you know, especially in rap music, where it gets to a certain point, no one's going to want to listen to you because you're old. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just how it is. So, I don't know, I'd just say stay consistent, you know, just keep the end goal in mind.
Okay.
I think that's important.
And you don't feel at the moment that, you know, the age thing, do you feel that the clock's ticking faster as you get older, or?
Nah, I did. You know what, when I hit 18, I was like, right, I've got to do it in the next year and a half, or I'm pissed. But like, now that I'm, you know, I'm older, I'm more mature now, I realise I've got time. I've got a bunch of time. But yeah, I think every artist goes through that. Like, maybe when they turn 18, 19, they go through that thing of like, why isn't it happening yet? You know what I mean? Because obviously I started thinking, oh yeah, in a year's time, we'll be doing it proper, big. But, you know, with time you sort of learn to grow into the music scene, and it takes time. But to be honest, I think I will miss, like, when it does work out, I think I will miss this stage.
The struggle.
Yeah, I think, like, yeah, 100%. Can't take it for granted. Because because it's fun, you know.
And
it's a journey.
And that's why you do it.
Yeah, like
ultimately you do it because you enjoy it.
I like the struggle because that's what it's all about, isn't it? Really, like, what's the point? There's no point in having success without struggle. So it's really and truly the best bit, in my opinion.
Amazing.
To come up.
Okay, thank you very much for coming down. That went very quick.
Of course it did. Awesome, dude.